What's up, YouTube? I'm Mike, and today I'm finally back with a new video. I've been gone for a week. I'm gonna try to. This video is basically going to be for the purposes of updating my audience, like the core audience that I've had for a while, that you guys have been following all my content. This video is basically for you, letting you know what's been going on and what's about to happen effectively. So this is not like, intended to attract a new audience. Nobody probably cares about all these details if you haven't been following me already. So for those of you who are already in the core audience, basically, you know that I was on the job hunt for quite a while. I accepted a position and I started my new job on Monday of this week. And so the training that I thought was going to be remote ended up being required to be done 100% in the office thus far. Again, I'm not going to give any details about the nature, the company I work for, or really too much information at all, because I want to be able to keep this YouTube channel alive. So please don't ask. The company, this is a company that I interviewed with once before for a different position that required a lot of travel. And I decided that I was not interested in flying 3 nights a week, being away from my family 3 to 4 nights a week. And so they had been committed to trying to find me another position because I'm very well qualified for their company. And so I had actually specifically asked the question of the recruiter, is my social media presence preventing me from being employed? And she said, absolutely not. You are very highly qualified. We would love for you to be a member of the team. So while I think that I'm covered in continuing to make the content that I've been making, because I was making it at that time, I still don't want to unnecessarily push the limits. But I do actually want to continue doing this because it's fun. It's an outlet for me. It does make money. I made every effort. I know a lot of you guys didn't want me to go back to work. You wanted to see 3-4 videos coming out of me a day. I made every effort to turn YouTube into a living, and it just didn't happen over the course of the last 8 months that I've been producing this content. So I have no choice but to go back to work. Maybe the day will come in the distant future where I can slowly continue to kind of grow my brand and turn this into something that I can sustain myself with. But as of now, it's just not possible. But I don't want to give up on what I've spent the last 4 years building either. So I suspect that I will continue to shoot content, whether from home or on the road when I get into the territory, which should be coming up middle of next week or the following week. So I will tell you that it has been culture shock. My wife and I think my wife was more prepared than I was. I was not prepared at all for the massive change that it was going to be, going from living this fairy tale life that I've been living for the past 2.5 years on mini retirement, having no responsibilities, no schedule of any kind, to suddenly having to get up at 7 o'clock in the morning because this office, the home office that's employing me is an hour away. Sometimes an hour and 20 minutes with traffic. And so I have to get up, I've been having to get up very early in the morning to drive through hellacious traffic to get to the office to do the training that, again, I thought I was going to be doing all from home. And so it has been a mind F like you would not believe for my entire family. When you just think about it for a second, and I know a lot of people probably can't fathom this because you've never probably had this experience in life, but I've been out of work for 2.5 years while continuing to maintain a very a pretty luxurious lifestyle because of all of the money that I withdrew from my early retirement. And so my wife and I have not been apart for more than like an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours at any point in the last 2.5 years. Just try to wrap your head around that. For 2.5 consecutive years, I never went more than an hour and a half or 2 hours without being in the presence of my wife, or my children for that matter. So suddenly, out of the blue, I'm getting up at 7 o'clock in the morning and I'm not getting home until 5:30 in the afternoon, and I'm not seeing my wife and family this entire time. And I have been literally going through what felt like withdrawal at this office every day trying to work through this training program that is just watching videos and answering and reading documentation. It's just mind-numbingly boring. And the whole time I'm trying to focus on this training, all I can think about is my wife and kids. Like there was days where I was sitting there going through training and I had, like, we have cameras all over our house that I can monitor remotely. And I just had my wife, she was sitting in the living room putting her makeup on. And I would just bring up the camera and have it sitting on my cell phone while I was doing training so like I could feel closer to her, because it's been really hard. The first day, on Monday of last week, the first day that I got up to go to work, my daughter had been nervous. She did not want me to go. My daughter has no memory of me working. When I quit my previous job, she was like 3 or something, 3.5, maybe 4, I don't remember. And so she has no memory of me ever having had a job. Her whole chronological memory in the world is that mom and dad are home all day, every day. And she was not excited about me going back to work. And so she was planning on getting up to say goodbye to me before I left. And I left so early the first day trying to make sure I was on time that she hadn't gotten out of bed yet. And I was like 10, 15 minutes down the road. My wife calls me. My daughter's on the floor sobbing because she didn't get a chance to say goodbye to me. It was fucking heartbreaking. So I was talking to her on the phone, and every day when I get home, it's like this happy, sad moment because my daughter comes busting out the front door, "Daddy, daddy, daddy," you know, so happy to see me. I'm like beat from an hour commute and 8 hours of training, and I'm trying to get all my bags and crap out of the car, and she's jumping on me trying to get hugs. I'm just wanting to get in the house and chill. And so it's been wild. It's been a wild experience. I know, like, most of you are probably like, this is pathetic, but it's wild, man. When you get to live a fairy tale for 2.5 years and then suddenly you have to snap back to reality, it's hard. Getting up at 7 o'clock in the morning has been kicking my ass. I am drinking energy drinks to stay awake, just one after the other. Because we're used to going to bed really late, 3, 4 o'clock in the morning, sleep until 11 o'clock in the morning, and so suddenly having to get up at 7 means we're trying to get to bed by midnight the latest. I'm only getting 7 hours of sleep a day. I'm used to getting 8 or 9, so I'm just becoming I was a zombie all week. It got better toward the end. You know, I was starting to adjust again. But those first few days in the office, they must have thought they hired a dead man, because I had no personality, no self-esteem, no confidence, none of the stuff that you guys are used to seeing, my loud, boisterous, aggressive personality. I was half dead the whole time, just trying to stay awake. So that's what's been going on. That's why you guys haven't been seeing content. I come home at night. I have a few hours to spend with my family before it's shower and bedtime, and try to survive another day of training. I smashed through the training apparently in record time. So I think that I have a couple more days in the office next week before I start going into the territory, because the job that I accepted is actually an outside sales position. I'll be working in a territory that I actually live in, which will be great. And so eventually we're gonna get back to a point where I can start making YouTube content again, because like I said, I want to keep this channel alive. I need the revenue badly, and it's a great outlet for me. So it may be somewhat toned down for a minute because I'm just trying to acclimate myself to the new job. So that's what's been going on in my personal life. I may have to timestamp this video. What's been going on with my bodybuilding is that I'm not bodybuilding. I have not been to the gym in, I think, almost 10 days now. Maybe 7. It seems like an eternity. I know I did not go to the gym Monday through Friday, that I was at the office. Every single day I come home, I'm completely dead. I don't think that we went Saturday or Sunday before I started. So today I think is a minimum of 7 days since I've been in the gym. During that 7-day period out of the gym, 5 days off of my normal sleeping and eating schedule, I have lost approximately 6 pounds. So I was hanging out around 212, 213 in the morning. I just weighed myself this morning when I got up, and I was at 207. So my abs look great. Like I mean, I'm losing weight in all the right places. But you know, it is definitely a setback. So when I started work, I stopped lifting. I've been on this Perma blast forever, and I was really not feeling life when I first started work, and with not lifting and knowing that there's going to be a period of time where there's training, there's getting familiar in a new territory, there's lots of people, there's a lot of work. I have a lot of work outside this house in my near future. And so I decided to start rolling back my doses. So I was taking, when I took the position, I was at 500 milligrams of Primo E per week, 500 milligrams of Mast E per week, 500 milligrams of Test C per week, 300 milligrams of Deca, 100 milligrams of Tren E per week that at the time I was injecting daily. And then I had been taking the mint, but I've been off of it for a little over a week now. You'll also remember that with my mint cycle, my estrogen went through the roof and I had completely broken my D. So over the course of the last week, some changes have been made to my cycle. I have taken out all of the Primobolan. So I am currently taking 500 milligrams of Test C, 400 milligrams of Mast E, 300 milligrams of Deca, 100 milligrams of Tren E, and I have stopped the daily injections and gone back to bi-weekly injections, which has been phenomenal. Daily Tren E injections basically resulted in me not feeling the Tren at all. Like, I absolutely could not feel the Tren at all on daily injections. It was a total pain in the ass. I don't understand why anyone pins daily. It was totally miserable for me. I love the bi-weekly injections, and since I've been back on bi-weekly injections for a week and I can feel the Tren again, which has been such a welcome return. I think that's one of the reasons that I was so miserable in the beginning of this training program, is I just didn't have all of the energy levels that I'm used to having. And so the bi-weekly injections have felt a lot better. I have been, for the past many weeks now, taking 1 milligram of Arimidex per day, trying to get my estrogen back into control after using the mint. I am here to report today that today is another step forward. I still have painful gyno. I have been on 1 milligram of Arimidex, I think, for 2 consecutive weeks now, maybe more, and I still have not crashed my estrogen. So 1 milligram of Arimidex per day, I think I just misspoke, 1 milligram of Arimidex per day for at least the past 2 consecutive weeks, and I still have not crashed my estrogen. My D game is on fire. Everything in the bedroom is as good or better than it's ever been. So things are clearly in a semi-normal state, but I still have painful gyno, which goes to show you, and I know this is going to be a controversial statement, I don't care, I've just got through proving it again, in my body, Primobolan is not an AI. Masteron is not a SERM in my body. I have been on 500 milligrams of Masteron E while taking 7 milligrams of Arimidex per week with an entire week of no mint, and I still have painful gyno. There are painful lumps behind both of my nipples. The Masteron, even at 500 milligrams a week, is not acting like a selective estrogen receptor modulator. It is not doing anything to prevent my gyno. The Primobolan that is supposed to have AI qualities, I'm on 500 milligrams of Test, 500 Primo, 500 Masteron, 7 milligrams of Arimidex per week, and I still have not crashed my estrogen. Primobolan is not an AI in my system. It just isn't. 500 milligrams of Primobolan is more than enough with the combination of all this other stuff. My estrogen should be crashed all the way through the bottom of the toilet, and it is not. There is absolutely zero. I have gyno. I have perfectly functional D game. I'm very emotionally connected to my wife to the point that I miss her tremendously bad when I'm at work. We text constantly, trying to stay in communication. None of this, again, is consistent with anything that I've experienced before taking mint. I know this is going to piss off or frustrate some people in my audience. Mint seems to have just completely wrecked my entire endocrine system. I think it is possibly the worst compound ever made I will never use it again for any purpose ever. It absolutely has just laid total waste to my hormone profile. And I know that it's the mint because I was on basically all of the same compounds before starting it, and my E2 and prolactin and everything were totally dialed in. At a bare minimum, I was totally functional. I had no gyno, perfectly functional D-game. So regardless of where my numbers actually were on the paper, I was totally asymptomatic at 500 milligrams of Test-C, 200 milligrams of Deca, 100 milligrams of Tren, and 400 milligrams of Masteron. That's what I was taking before I started the mint. And I was perfectly dialed in on that dose. I was taking 3.5 milligrams of Arimidex per week. I had no gyno. I had no crash prolactin. Everything in my life was working perfectly great. I was reporting feeling amazing, feeling like I could run those doses into perpetuity. And I put the mint in, and everything fell apart, and it is still not recovered. So I cannot recommend strongly enough. If you want my personal opinion, I would absolutely never, under any circumstances, take any amount of mint ever. I think it is by far the single worst compound I have ever used, with the exception of maybe D-bol, both of which produce an estrogen that you just cannot control for, and apparently is super potent, or at a minimum causes massive upheaval in all of your in your entire body. Like, again, like, I still have not recovered from this. So that's where I'm at with my hormones. I am probably going to stay here throughout the remainder of the next week. I want to increase the Tren. If anything happens, I will increase the Tren, trying to get more aggression and personality and energy to combat the fact that I'm only getting 7 hours of sleep. If I bump the Tren back up to 200 milligrams a week, I will probably be able to function on, you know, at 200-300 milligrams of Tren. So a lot of times I don't get more than 5 hours of sleep. Now, that's not ideal, but but I would rather not be a zombie all day. So if anything goes up, it will be the Tren. But I suspect that I'm going to try to keep everything at baseline for now until I can get rid of my gyno and get my E2. I should not need 7 milligrams of Arimidex per week at these doses. There's just no way. There's definitively signs and symptoms that I am starting to normalize. The gyno is progressively getting better, and so I think we're tracking in the right direction. But until things improve considerably above where they're at now, I don't want to make too many more changes to the cycle. Once I get my E2 dialed in, then I'm probably going to look at dialing everything back to some type of a cruise for maybe the next few months at a minimum, while I get my feet wet in my territory, start adjusting to my new schedule. I don't suspect that I'm going to be going to the gym 5 nights a week during all of this, so I'm probably going to try to give my body the break that it's been needing for a long time. I've been blasting high doses for greater than 35 weeks consecutively. I've had hospital stays. I've had a lot of crap going on. My body's taken a beating. I succeeded in getting my body weight up to the highest it's ever been at 218.2 pounds. Yes, I really wish that I could have pushed it to 220 just to say that I got there. But at the end of the day, I'm 43, almost 44 years old. And once you get to the size that I'm at, that extra 2 pounds, it's all ego. It's just all bullshit. Like, yeah, like, great, I hit 220, I'm not going to be able to maintain it. And so that's the new game, is to see what can I maintain with substantially lower amounts of androgens and possibly 3-day-a-week workouts. So I'm going to try to dial things back to sort of a rest and recovery phase. Let my body do some recovering. Maximize the time that I have available with my family outside of work. Make sure that I have the energy to attack my job and do as best that I can in the early going when things are the most difficult. In the kind of business that I'm in, the early months in a new territory, you spend a lot of time on the road, going to meet every single customer in your territory, trying to build relationships. trying to get these people to trust you so that you can graduate to being able to just pick up the phone, get them on the phone, and be able to do business with them. You have to develop that relationship first, and so it takes a lot of FaceTime and a lot of window time. It's a lot of driving, going to see people every day while you develop your book of business, and then you can kind of do more from home after you get things set up. So during that early phase, I'm not going to have all of the, I doubt that I'm going to have all of the energy that I have been having. So I think this is like the perfect time. I've been needing an excuse to kind of dial things back a little bit. And so I'm going to start in a controlled manner, taking my doses back down to something that at least looks like a cruise for me. I suspect that I will still be on around 600 milligrams of gear. I haven't quite decided exactly. I don't want to give up Masteron. I don't want to give up Tren. I don't want to give up Test. I don't want to give up Deca. So what kind of a cruise can I run with 4 compounds that doesn't still have me have my doses into the stratosphere? That's going to be the new game plan, and we'll see what happens. Every time I bring my testosterone dose down below 500 milligrams, I run into low E2 problems. But I have E2 here, so if I crash, then maybe we'll run the experiment that I have been suggesting that I was going to run, where I use exogenous estrogen to maintain my E2 levels should they become crashed by lowering my total testosterone level. So there's still going to be lots of experimentation going on. Don't abandon the channel yet, just because I'm coming off of my idiotic Perma blast. What I'm realizing is that my content will probably be more available to a larger audience when I stop Perma blasting. Very few people in my audience, I suspect, are interested in running 2 grams of every injectable compound under the sun for extended periods of time. And so while it's probably been fun to watch me guinea pig my body, I suspect that it will be of more value when I start getting my compounds back down to more realistic doses that the majority of people in my audience could actually benefit from running themselves, find out how much mass I can maintain on lower doses, find out how much mass I can maintain on fewer workouts a week, and see kind of what's been underneath all of this fluff and extra weight that I've been able to build up with, high amounts of androgens, MK677, all everything that I put into the mix. So that's where we're at. Like I said, once I get onto the road, I'll have, even once I get onto the road, I'll still have more time at home, but I'll probably gonna try to shoot some video content throughout the day, even if it's from my cell phone, giving you guys updates as to what's going on with my cycles, how I'm managing, what my cruises are looking like, just whatever I can come up with for content. Maybe you guys will find the moving around more entertaining than sitting here in this office, and we'll just see kind of what comes out. I suspect that this will be vlog type of content for a little while, which is really all my channel's ever been. It's just me sharing my experiences, and some of the, there's a reasonable amount of people who've kind of bought into my experience and seem to enjoy following my journey. And so my channel's really never been just the straight informational type content that Vigorous shoots or some of these other guys. And so we'll see what happens. Thank you to everyone who's supported the channel for this long. Thank you to everyone who's been sticking by me this week. The well wishes, the questions, to all the members. There's almost certainly going to be members only content coming out because of the fact that I'm employed. I really don't want to risk just dropping some of my more unhinged takes out in public for somebody at work to look up and start raising alarm bells about. So to all my members, I appreciate you very, very much supporting the channel. The support that I continue to get is going to decide, honestly, whether or not it's worth it to continue doing YouTube. Now YouTube is a potential risk. I think I'm okay making the content and being employed, but I can't know for certain. And so if it doesn't continue to produce revenue for me, then the entire thing will go away, because it won't be worth losing my day job over something that has proven time and time again is not sufficient to pay the bills. So I appreciate any and all of the ways that you guys continue to support the channel so that I can continue bringing you content. And there will be plenty of experimentation coming up. I think it's going to be exciting to see you know, what I can make, what is really left under all of this when I pull the compounds out. For those of you who are looking for a physique update, this is what I'm looking like after almost at least 7 days out of the gym. So you can see, I don't know if my abs will be visible. They're always visible in the viewfinder and then never in the actual camera lighting because it's so harsh. But all of the weight that I've been losing has been right around my midsection. So my shoulders and everything still looks full, which is what you would expect from being on high doses of androgens. A week out of the gym is not going to cost you your physique. I've definitely lost thickness, some fullness, likely due to not having a pump and not having anything to push the glycogen into my cells and sort of inflate them. But I don't know. I feel like I feel like I look pretty good, all things considered. My caloric intake has been massively down over this week because I can't bring, I'm not carting like half of a refrigerator to the office to be able to eat during the day, which is another thing that will help a lot when I can get back to working from home. I can get a couple of meals in before I leave to get on the road, take a meal with me, get a couple of meals in when I get home in the evening, and get back to maintaining my physique. I suspect that I'm probably gonna end up looking better this way than I was before because I'll be back to the physique that a lot of you guys like, which is the less bloated, less water retention, more diced and peeled and hard and vascular. So it's like I'm the one that's always trying to get like a little puffy, and most people in my audience seem to feel like I look better at the lower body weight. So this is me at 208 pounds, very dry, very lean, not inflated in any way. I'm hoping to eat like crazy this weekend and maybe get a couple of lifts in. I really need to get a pump at a minimum to just keep things nice and full and inflated. I have also stopped the GH. I did take that out of my system. My resting pulse had crept back up to 98 to 100. I could be laying in bed and have my pulse flicker back and forth between like 98 beats a minute and 103 beats a minute. And so between 2 grams of gear and I was up to like 6 IU's GH, I just felt like that combined with 7 hours of sleep a day, massive intake of energy drinks. I've been using some modafinil, trying to stay awake and alert at work. The modafinil is great on the come up, but the come down is miserable. I found that I have to dose it every 4 hours or I start feeling the come down crash, which is really nasty. Makes you feel just cracked out. And so I've been trying to steer clear of using any modafinil at all. I never went over 200 milligrams a day, which maybe just wasn't enough to offset the 7 hours of sleep. But I don't really like adding anything even like that into a protocol where I'm already taxing my cardiovascular system and my whole body. I don't know that it's considered a stimulant, but I felt uncomfortable really adding it in, and I was feeling like death honestly every night after work. I was just feeling absolutely zombified. And so there you have it. I'm running out of time on this video. I'm trying to keep it short to reduce post-processing. So this is just my update about what's been going on and what's coming. So hopefully this weekend I'll get some more content out, and then it's probably not going to see any content until maybe Wednesday of next week. We'll just see how it goes. The training that I have left to do at the office is basically sitting down with people in various departments and kind of spending a little time seeing what they do for whatever reason. So maybe I can dip out to the car at some point and shoot like a little 15-minute video, just kind of updating you guys as to what's going on. If you happen to care, we'll just see how this video does. But there you have it. That's what's been going on. That's what's happening. That's what's coming. So please continue to support the channel if you want to see my content. Discord is still alive and popping, even though I haven't been talking in it very much. And that's it. So as always, thank you for watching. We'll see you on the next one.